All right, guys, we have an absolute bombshell today. So, imagine for a second here, a city employee walks into your house, they slam you against the wall, they crush your throat, they steal your safe, and then they drive to Home Depot to try to crack the damn thing open. This is not fiction. This is not fiction. This is what Boston police officers say happened on April 11th of this year. Okay? Yes, this is months ago, and we'll get into that in a minute. And the accused is Donasia Yancey, who is a senior official in Mayor Michelle Wu's administration. This person is the deputy director in the mayor's office of LGBTQ plus advancement. I didn't realize that the B in LGBTQ stood for battery, burglary, and breaking into safes, okay? And Mayor Wu, as expected, have you seen anything from her? Because I sure haven't. She hasn't said a damn thing. This isn't just a story of violence. It's a story of cover-up. Because while the media ran headlines about 2 other Wu staffers arrested in May, Yancey's arrest was weeks earlier on felony charges, and it was completely buried. Completely buried. No press, nothing. No court records in the public system, no accountability, absolutely nothing until today. It seems like working for Mayor Wu comes with a punch card for felony rewards, all right? Now, according to the official Boston Police Incident Report, which was obtained by Mass Daily News, officers ended up responding to a domestic violence call in somewhere in Roxbury. They arrived around 1:40 p.m., and the victim told the police that Yancey struck her in the throat, slammed her against a wall that was hard enough to damage the wall. It was probably sheetrock, right? And then Yancey took the locked safe, and she left. She left, and she went to Home Depot. I'm assuming maybe to get a crowbar or some sort of device, maybe a sawzall to saw this thing open. I don't know what the hell is in this safe, but there it is. Now, the reason that we know this is because there was body-worn camera, and that caught the aftermath. And when you think about it, those are the same cameras that the ACLU once cheered for until they started filming the wrong activists, right? Funny how that works. Anyway, when Yancey strolled back onto the scene, like it was just another day, she was arrested on the spot. So again, she committed the crime, took the safe, goes to Home Depot, comes back to the same spot, and the police are there, and then gets arrested. Let me be clear here for a second. These are not accusations pulled from social media. This is directly from police reports and court filings. Yancey was arraigned 3 days later on April 14th and formally charged with an assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, a felony plus a misdemeanor assault charge, right? The judge found probable cause, and the case is still active. There is a pretrial hearing scheduled for, I believe, July 10th. But here's the thing. Unless you knew the exact case number, you wouldn't find this anywhere. It's completely hidden. The docket is hidden from Mass Court's public search. It was briefly listed on a court calendar, but then it miraculously vanished. Why? Because this administration is not interested in justice. It's only interested in optics. Yancey is no minor staffer here, guys. You figure this would be all over the place. She is a public-facing leader in Mayor Wu's equity agenda. She is the founder of Black Lives Matter Boston, and she is a prominent protest organizer. And guess what? This is what happens, okay? This is what happens when you have the connections. She helped shape Wu's progressive brand. That kind of resume doesn't just buy access, it clearly buys silence. Let me ask you the obvious. If this had been a Boston police officer, a firefighter, a school custodian, or a public works driver arrested on a felony assault, do you think they would still be getting checks 3 months later? Would their name still be proudly listed on boston.gov? We all know the answer here. It's absolute hypocrisy. But this city hall protects the connected and they discard the expendable. Here's a really good example. When the other two Woo staffers were arrested in May, both in a domestic incident, the administration, they acted swiftly. Both were fired. Their names were splashed across the news, but that same case involved Segun Idowi. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, okay? Let's just call it what it is. But he is Woo's chief of economic opportunity and inclusion. Do you see the pattern that's going on here? And he is one of her top cabinet members. He wasn't fired. He's still on the job. And now with Yancey, we see the exact same script playing out. Senior staff, felony charges, no comment, no consequences. Why is there a double standard? Why? I'll tell you. Here's what happened. So, Mass Daily News, which is a new local independent news source, okay? They went where nobody else would. They pulled the court records. They confirmed the charges. They verified Yancey's continued employment, and they tried to get answers. They reached out to the mayor's office. They reached out to the LGBTQ plus advancement office, the Roxbury court clerk, and Yancey herself. Guess what happened? Nothing. Nobody responded. Absolutely nobody responded. This silence for stuff like this, guys, this is not accidental. This is strategic. This is what I got to say. The voters of Boston, you figure Roxbury, JP, Mattapan, Dorchester, hear me out for a second, right? This is your city. This is your money. And this is your mayor refusing to speak up about a public official facing violent felony charges. Woo didn't just stay quiet. Her administration quietly let the court records disappear from view. Transparency wasn't forgotten. It was completely abandoned. And honestly, when you think about these things, what makes this worse, and I said this earlier, it's the hypocrisy. This administration brands itself on equity, on justice, on accountability. They say they are listening to the victims. They say they believe in systems that work for everyone. But what are we seeing now? What is this? That's not justice. That's not justice at all. There's one rule. This is how it goes. There's like one rule for the insiders and the ones who help build your brand, and another rule for everybody else. This story is particularly interesting because the person involved built her career protesting on police brutality, demanding justice, calling for government transparency, right? She led marches, shutdowns, you name it. She used her voice to hold the power accountable. But now she's on the opposite end. Now that she holds that power, where is she? Where's her voice? Where is her apology? Where is the leadership? And guess what? Mayor Woo? Yeah, the buck stops with you. 3 months of silence, court records that are functionally hidden, no statement, no policy, no suspension. Okay? Boston deserves better. It does. Where is their public integrity? If you claim to lead a government that serves the people, then act like it. Don't protect those closest to you while scapegoating the powerless. Don't preach justice and practice some levels of cronyism. The fact is this, okay? This should not be happening. This should absolutely not be be happening. If you are a voter in Boston, you need to pay attention to this. The fact that we have to rely either on ourselves or, publications like Mass Daily News, not the Globe, not GBH, and not City Hall itself, tells you everything that you need to know. We don't have a transparency problem in Boston. We have a transparency crisis. And now the question falls to the voters, the residents, the taxpayers. Like, are you guys okay with this? Is this common practice? Are you okay with the felony assault being buried to protect political insiders? Are you okay with the mayor who selectively applies consequences based on loyalty and not law? Really? Are you okay with being lied to by omission? Because if not, then guess what? This moment matters. These moments matter more than anything else. And I never ask you guys this, but please, for the love of God, do what you can to share this video. You need to show up and you need to speak out, because guess what? We're only going to continue to have the same things happen again and again. These are the results when a government goes unchecked. This is our city. This is our government. And this silence they tried to sell you as leadership is absolutely despicable. I don't know, guys. We will continue to cover this story as it escalates. But as for right now, take it for what it is. Transparency, accountability, all of those things are completely out of the window. That's it for today's video, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.